Okay, thank you, Chris. All right, I'm going to call us to order at 7:02 on April 27th. Welcome, everyone. First order of business is approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, Lindsay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Farhad. We have one addition, item 10A, which is annual adoption of the town's emergency management plan. Anything else that we need to change, add? Any other adjustments anyone has? No? Okay, all in favor of the agenda with that one addition, please signify with a thumbs up. Okay, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in favor. Okay, approval of the minutes from the April 13th regular select board meeting. Motion?
So move.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second? Thank you, Lindsay. Any changes, clarifications, corrections? Nothing? Okay, so all in favor of the minutes as presented, please signify with a thumbs up. 1, 2.
Kathleen, do I abstain from this? I was only half of the meeting in last time.
Heather, your call.
I think he could vote.
Okay,
That would be okay with me.
sure.
All right,
You can-
so we're
Vote on the
6 in
first
favor.
half.
Yep. Okay. Citizen comments. This is for anything not on the agenda. I don't currently, if anyone in the audience or in the attendees list has something that's not on the agenda, you could raise your hand. I'm not seeing anything. I think everyone here is for agenda items. So I think we're all set. Okay. Approval of the first and third class liquor licenses and outside consumption permits. And Town Clerk Ann Webster is seeking the board's approval for the following liquor license and outside consumption permits. One for Middlebury College doing business as the Kirk Alumni Center, and also another one for, that's their first and third class liquor license renewal. And then also Middlebury College doing business as the Kirk Alumni Center for an outside consumption permit. So these will be pending receipt of a completed safety inspection, but we can go ahead and approve them pending that.
Okay, I'll move to approve the first class and third class liquor license renewal applications for Middlebury College doing business as Kirk Alumni Center, pending the receipt of a completed public safety inspection.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second? Thank you, Lindsay. Any discussion on that motion? Okay, all in favor, please signify with thumbs up. All 6 in favor. Okay.
And then similarly, I move to approve the outside consumption permit application for Middlebury College doing business as Kirk Alumni Center, pending the receipt of completed public safety inspection.
Thank you, Nick. Second? Is there a second? Thank you, Lindsay. Any questions, discussions on that motion? No? All in favor, please signify with a thumbs up. Okay, we are 6 in favor. All right. Next item on the agenda is appointments to appointed boards, committees, commissions, and official positions. We've entered the slate of candidates into nomination at the April 13th meeting. And now we need to make motions to appoint individuals to competitive positions, and then we can do the remaining non-competitive in a single motion. So let's take, I'm just going to go over to my, hang on with me a second. Oh, here it is. Too many tabs open. So let's start with the Planning Commission. Oh, nope. That one is not competitive. Never mind.
Yeah.
Development Review Board.
Okay, well, Development Review Board is one of those boards that's going to have, I think, quite a bit of work coming up in this upcoming year as we implement the master plan and go into the post-COVID world. Experience is really critical, so therefore I move to nominate Kevin Newton, who has served the board well as the board's chair, David Hamilton, who brings important architectural expertise, Gary Baker with his extensive institutional knowledge for reappointment to the Development Review Board. And in addition, as per Jason LaRocque's request, to move him from a principal to an alternate position on the DRB, and then to appoint Mark Welch, who is the current alternate, to the principal position.
Okay. Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lindsay. Farha, did you second? Or were you just
Yeah, I
commenting?
did, but it's okay.
I'm
I
sorry.
did, but it's okay.
Oh, no, Farhad gets it.
Okay, let's give it to Farhad. I heard something but didn't catch exactly what it was. So is there discussion, comments? Anything
The only
on that?
thing I was going to mention, it's not about this particular board, but one thing I thought when I was reading through everything is that I'd love to know how many terms people have served, because I know we talk sometimes about, seeking either somebody who has a long-term experience or seeking somebody who might be fresh if there are a lot of sort of veterans on. So that's just a general comment. It's not specifically about this board.
Okay, thanks, Lindsay. Any other comments or questions, discussions on the motion? We're ready to vote? Okay, all in favor of the motion nominating that slate of names to the Development Review Board, please signify with a thumbs up. Okay, we're 6 in favor. Okay. Let me go back to my list here. So the Design Advisory Committee has 2 positions and 3 applicants. So let's take that one next.
I'll motion to appoint Chris Dioli and Lillian Snow to the Design Advisory Committee.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second, Farhad? Okay, thank you. Discussion on that motion. Nothing? Okay, all in favor, please signify with a thumbs up. Okay, we're all 6 in favor. Okay. So I should have made better notes. I apologize. Just going down. I think that's all of the ones where we have more. Okay.
That's it.
I think that's it. So the rest of the appointments are all not competitive. So if someone would like to make a motion, we can do those all at once.
Alexia, I move to appoint all nominees to the remaining committees, boards, commissions, and official positions as presented.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you,
Second.
Farhad. Any
No.
discussion?
Now, some of those committees, they don't have enough applicants. Do we re-enlist and then we have to go through the motion again?
I don't know, Kathleen, do we typically re-advertise for open positions, or do we just wait to see if anyone is interested?
We advertise as if we can bundle it with another advertisement, usually if something
Okay.
else is coming up.
So we
Does it have
aren't.
to- Does it have to come to the board again for approval of those candidates?
Yeah,
Yes.
oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so if we get it, occasionally throughout the year, someone is interested in something that there's an open position for, and if they send in a letter of interest, then we can address that at the time. So if you know of someone who might be interested in any of the open positions, you could certainly have them send an email to Kathleen and we can go from there. Okay?
I had one question before we move on.
Yes,
If
go ahead.
any of these committees wanted to create an alternate position, I'm thinking of the Energy Committee just because it's a very full committee and sometimes, someone might not show up. I'm just wondering, does that need to come to the board or is that a decision that the committees can make themselves?
Some of the committees have particular bylaws about
Mhm.
how their committee is set up, and I would have to research what the Energy Committee's bylaws are.
Okay, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that yet. It was just a thought in my head, so. But okay, it would come down to when the committee formed, what they had decided for themselves at that time. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we're ready to move on. This isn't any kind of public hearing. We can take item 7 ahead of schedule, correct, Kathleen?
I think you can, but I wonder if people will be joining us, particularly for that downtown bridge construction. I see that Dan is in the gallery, so he probably wouldn't object to coming on early.
Okay, let's take some of these public works items and infrastructure committee items and get those out of the way, and then we'll start the rail bridge update at 7:30. So, good evening, Dan.
Hopefully Dan is there.
He may not be thinking he has to be on until 8 o'clock, so.
Okay. Oh,
I'm here.
okay.
I was in the other room and I heard my name. I said, better come running.
We're taking you a little out of order, Dan, because I'm ahead of schedule already. So I thought we would jump to item 8. If that's okay with you.
Sure.
And we'll start with 8A and talk about the Otter Creek Engineering Services Agreement for the rail parking and Maple Street stormwater.
Okay. So this is a engineering agreement with Otter Creek Engineering. As Heather said, it's for the rail parking project and the Maple Street storm sewer, which is around the corner there from the entrance of the Marble Works. The agreement, I don't know if Kathleen, do you have the number, a thing up there you can post up, or let me give it 1 second and I'll get to it.
Okay.
Okay, the original contract amount was for $12,040, and that was just for the storm sewer portion. And then there's also a portion, a different contract for the rail parking lot project. And so Brett and I had a conversation about some months ago about refining the joint contract into just one, instead of having 2 separate contracts as originally conceived, because at the time we weren't sure how funding was going to work out with the parking lot. So anyway, the long story short of it is they're asking for the $16,500 for the inspection for both projects combined, and that gives a revised contract amount of $28,540. It works out to almost an $11,000 savings if they were we'd approved them, a year ago or more as separate contracts. So anyway, long story short, combining both contracts saved us some money, not only for the contractor, but for the engineering services. So I'm requesting the board to approve the amendment amount of $16,500. $16,500. So the revised amount would be $28,540.
Okay, thank you. Would someone like to make a motion?
Heather, before that happens, just once again, because I utilize Otter Creek Engineering's professional services for some of my own projects, I won't vote for this. Or I mean, I won't participate in the vote.
Okay, thank you, Nick.
I'll move to approve the combined engineering services agreement with Otter Creek Engineering for construction phase services for the Maple Street drainage improvements and rail platform projects at a total cost of $16,500.
I'll second.
Thank you, Lindsay and Farhad. Any
Okay,
discussion? Any questions for Dan? Anything further? Okay, all in favor, please signify with a thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one abstention. 5 in favor, 1 abstention. Okay, Dan, you want to take us through, what time are we? We still got time. You want to take us through the mowing bid?
sure. Bill sent out mowing packets to several contractors. And she and Kathleen is going to put up the spreadsheet in a short bit. There are 3 bidders, and subsequently, as you can see in the lower left-hand box, Trask Property Maintenance has declined to do just one package that they were the low bidder at. So Bill has then since decided that the one contract go to Brian's Lawn Care and move the one that Trask was originally low bidder on to Brian's Lawn Care. So the motion needs to be that you would award a contract to Brian Lawn's Care for a total of $8,425. And then also move to award a mowing contract to Gilmet Landworks for $6,525. And you can see in the lower portion there which packets they would be performing. So request the board approve those 2 contracts for those amounts.
Thank you, Dan. So we'll need 2 motions. Would someone like to do that, please?
I can move to award 2021-2022 mowing service contract to Brian's Lawn Care Center, Brian's Lawn Care for bid package number 1, 5, 6, and 8 at a total cost of $8,425. I further move to accept Brian's Lawn Care's low bid of $1,425 for packet 3 as a bid alternate should it be needed.
Thank you, Farhad. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lindsay. Any questions or discussions on that motion? Okay, all in favor, please signify with a thumbs up. Okay, we are 6 in favor.
All right.
Go ahead, Farhad.
You're saying something, Dan?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so I further move to award a 2021-2022 mowing services contract to Gilmet Landworks for bid package number 2, 4, and 7 at a total cost of $6,525.
Second.
Thank you, Farhad and Lindsay. Any discussion, questions on that motion? Okay, all in favor, please signify with a thumbs up. Did I get everybody? Dan, did you do? Dan, okay, great. All right, 6 in favor. Thank you.
And before we move on, I just was going to mention that we did have a nice discussion at infrastructure about electric use with the mowing contracts, and we did get all of the, Bill had put out that we're looking to see if people were utilizing alternative energy sources for their mowing, and we did get that information back. It was just we were very much priced out of. It was slightly more expensive to go with one of the companies that had all electric equipment, but it was nice to see it. And we talked a little bit about potentially, you know, when it's time to replace our own equipment, replacing it with electric. So just in case anyone's curious.
Great, thanks, Lindsay. So I still see a little bit more time. You want to get through the tree pruning bid, Dan?
Sure. So Bill sent out packets for tree pruning bid. One was returned, and that was from Trees Inc. from Rutland, Vermont area. These are our prices on a variety of services. It wasn't like a complete bid dollar number, so what you'll be approving are the quoted prices should we decide to use them. In other words, it's a guaranteed price for 2 years using their services. So there is not a there's a multi-sheet bid packet that was submitted, but it's not a final dollar number. So the committee decided to move ahead with sending the Trees Incorporated proposal to you for 2021-22 tree maintenance services at hourly rates.
Great, thank you, Dan.
And if I remember correctly, Bill said this isn't an exclusive contract. It just gives us the ability to use them, but we could find someone else if we wanted to.
Right.
Perfect. So would someone like to make a motion?
I move to award a contract to Trees Incorporated for 2021-2022 tree maintenance services at the hourly rates quoted in the Trees Incorporated bid.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Esther. We get a double second on that one. Any questions or discussions on that motion? No? Okay, all in favor, please signify with a thumbs up. Okay, we're 6 in favor. Perfect.
Next is highway crack sealing bid. We had 3 bidders out of 6 that were sent packages respond. These are priced on a per day basis. The low bidder this time for a 2-year contract was with Nycom Coatings. We didn't use them last year, but we have in prior years. Their price for per day is $3,950. And like I said, it's a 2-year contract. Their price, I think the last time we used them was $4,000 per day. So they're certainly keeping in line, or maybe not for them, keeping in line with inflation, but it's working well for us. So requesting the board to approve Nycom's bid of $3,950 per day at a 2-year contract.
That's fine. I move to award a contract for 2021 to 2022 highway crack sealing to Nycom Coatings at the quoted unit cost of $3,950 per day.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second? Thank you, Farhad. Any discussion or questions on that motion? No? All in favor, please signify with a thumbs up. Okay, we are 6 in favor.
All right. Next
Okay.
is line painting bid. Again, packages were sent out. 3 companies responded. The low bidder is L&D Safety Markings out of Barre, Vermont. They've been in business in Vermont for many, many years. This is also a 2-year bid for 2021 and 22. Their cost per lineal foot is 10 cents for a painted line, and on the estimated footage, it's estimated to be at $8,000 per year. So it's not the bid isn't going to be approved at 8,000, it will be approved at the 10 cents per lineal foot. So requesting the board to approve L&D's Safety Markings bid.
Someone like to make a motion?
I'll award a contract for 2021-2022 highway line stripping to L&D Safety Markings at a quoted unit cost of 10 cents per 4-inch linear foot.
Thank you, Farhad. Is there a second?
Second.
Sure.
Thank you, Dan and Nick. Any questions, comments on that motion?
What is the 4-inch per linear foot? What does it give you, Dan?
So these are the yellow center lines or the white edge lines on the sides of the paved roads. So it's 4 inches wide, and per foot of 4-inch wide, it's 10 cents.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I think like when you're painting a double yellow line, that's
Yep.
twice as much as like a white line or a single. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions? No? Okay, all in favor of that motion, please signify with a thumbs up. Okay, we're 6 in favor. So Dan, I'm sorry, I think we're about 7:28, so we'll put back on pause 8F and 8G. But we got through some of them.
Okay.
And we'll move back to item 7. So thank you, Dan, for filling in that time for us.
Sure.
So Chris, if you would bring Aaron Guyette and John Griffin and Nathan Speenberg, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, into the meeting, that would be great.
All right. Jim, I believe Jim Gish is also going to be joining
Oh,
them.
yes. Yes, please bring
uh,
Jim in.
Phil Harrington of the Vermont Agency of Transportation is also going to be joining us.
Okay, then.
Wonderful.
So that
Chris?
being the case, let me start moving the minutes. Stand by. It's going to take a moment to get all 6 individuals into the meeting. Okay, there goes Jim. Let me do Aaron next. Okay, Nathan. And last but not least, Phil Harrington.
And then Jonathan Griffin as well.
And oops, sorry about that, Jonathan. And Jonathan, here we go.
Thank you, Chris. My screen just got a lot smaller. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear us all right?
I can.
Okay. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Heather, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
Good.
So someone's sharing, Aaron's sharing his screen. If you guys are ready, please take it away.
Great. So thanks, everyone. So in my 5.5 years as community liaison on this project, VHB, VTrans, and Kubricki have regularly updated the select board on project progress and planning kind of on a regular basis, throughout these past few years. And now we find ourselves just 4 months away from the end of the project. And so as we have done throughout, we'll be giving you an update on what the next 4 months will be like. We'll focus largely on the new parks that are being built downtown. And then we'll leave time for questions at the end of the session here. So I'm just trying to get my screen to come up so I can see. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So what you're looking at here is the finish line. And in the lower right is Lazarus Park, which is taking shape today over this past week. And over on the left there is Triangle Park, and we'll be talking about those tonight. So if we can advance the screen, Aaron. Great. These community goals were formulated by the Select Board back in 2016. And I think the Select Board will be familiar with these goals. And they have guided our decision-making and activity throughout this process of the downtown construction project. So we will move on from the community goals to the next slide. And as I mentioned, VTrans, VHB, and Kubricki Construction are our main partners. I'll introduce the folks that they'll be talking to you tonight in a minute. I also wanted to mention Federal Highway Administration, which provides the vast majority of the funding for this project. So joining us tonight from the Vermont Agency of Transportation will be John Griffin. John is the project manager for our downtown rail and bridge project. Many of you have had the opportunity to meet and interact with him. Aaron Guyette is the lead engineer from VHB. I think many of you have had an opportunity to meet and work with Aaron both on this project and previously on the Cross Street Bridge project. Nathan Speenberg is joining us as the project manager from Kubricki Construction. And Nathan will be kind of walking us through some of the construction details that will unfold over the next 4 months. And then Phil Harrington, as Kathleen mentioned, also from the Vermont Agency of Transportation. Phil is the resident engineer, which means he's the field guy for VTrans over at the Bordon Insurance Building, which is the field headquarters of VTrans. And at the conclusion of the meeting today, Phil will be providing a brief update on the Amtrak rail platform, which is being under construction at the back end of the Marble Works. And also on the paving project that's taking place to repave our Class 1 town highways, Route 7, Route 30, and Route 125. So that's the agenda for today, and those are the folks. So current project status, I mentioned, my joining the team here in 2016. That what followed in the summer of 2017, as you'll remember, is the demolition of the bridges and the installation of those temporary bridges that we lived with for 3 years. And then in 2018 was the construction of the drainage, the new drainage system for central downtown and for the rail corridor, otherwise known as that large pit that was excavated next to the Printer's Alley. That seems like a long time ago now. And then project design taking place into 2019. And then the main project, what we've been involved with for the last 2 years here, getting underway in July. There was a lot of work in the rail corridor to prepare for last year. And then, of course, last year was the main event during the summer when the rail tunnel was installed and a lot of work took place downtown. The project is scheduled to end in mid-August of this year. And as I mentioned, we're kind of in the final stretch here. We can move to the next slide. And so what we want to do here, I'm going to pass the baton over to Nathan. But what we want to do here is just do a quick summary of what we accomplished in 2020. It was a milestone year in many ways last year for you as well as for us. And so what we want to do is just take a minute or two to kind of recap what we achieved as a team, the town, the state, VHB, Kubricki working together last year, and then move on to 2021. So Nathan, if I can hand that off to you to kind of walk through our construction summary.
Thanks a lot, Jen. More than happy to walk through what was, what is now, and what will be. As many of you know, most of last year, to include a temporary shutdown for the COVID pandemic, we pretty much were preparing for the 10-week shutdown. There was a lot of excavation that occurred. We were able to remove Merchants Row Bridge. And then finally, the closure began and we were able to remove Main Street Bridge, remove the railroad as you used to know it, begin all of our excavation, install the tunnel, backfill, and then get it back into a place that traffic could resume. Primarily, original intent was before college started, but with the COVID delay, we got it going right around the end of September, where traffic and pavement, and we had our ribbon cutting ceremony. And then we continued cleanup in the fall and initial landscaping, and now we're back. So if you want to proceed to the next slide, we'll do a kind of a now and then. Going from left to right, you'll see the original railroad. Just prior to the Main Street removal, Merchants Row had already been removed, the old bridge, or the temporary bridge. And then in the middle there, you see that both bridges are gone, and we began our excavation down to to what was the large pipe you can see there hanging by the crane, which is the utility crossing underneath the tunnel, to preparing for the first tunnel piece on the right, where you'll see all the crushed gravel being placed and rolled and compacted, ready for the first set of precast. Next slide. And then just to kind of show, as we got down to the bottom of the excavation on the left there, you'll see the rock that probably the original Middlebury is known for, hard ledge quarries throughout this area of Vermont. And we had to remove that. So for those of you that remember the blasting windows and traffic being shut down, and those that were getting to watch the construction, there was a lot of chipping, hammering, blasting, and removal of rock for quite a few days, so that we could get that corridor, as you see on the right, through there that the tunnel would go. Next slide. And then right as we got into the peak of summer, I'll call it, we got to set our first piece of precast there. And many came by to see. I think we had quite an audience. We probably were the only thing people could come watch last summer. So we had quite the audience of all ages, the smallest of kids all the way to some of the older citizens in the neighborhood. We were the movie theater of sorts. So the first piece, we had quite the audience. And then you can see in the right there, we had 4 pieces set as we were headed south towards Battelle Block and towards the Cross Street Bridge. Next slide. And just to kind of show the tolerances that we were working on, as you can see the finished tunnel, some of our guys taking lunch break, you can see the very minimal clearance between what was the support to hold the wall back while we set our precast on either side. We had inches in some cases. If you look to the picture right, some of the steel that was holding up the Patel access drive was inches from the precast that we set. A lot of hard effort by the designers and construction workers alike to make those tolerances work. Next slide. And now you can see on the left, we're finishing up the precast. Retaining walls are in place, and you can see our subcontractor Engineers Construction progressing north from Cross Street Bridge with the brand new railroad. And then on the right, you can see the railroad coming out of the tunnel headed north along the Marble Works. North being into the page, or excuse me, out of the page or into your face, depending on how you're looking at the screen. Next slide. And then we immediately started our backfill and Land Shapes out of Vermont, Waters Excavating out of Vermont, both facilitated landscaping. And you can see as Kabricki was getting ready to pave, Land Shapes and Waters were putting in curb and pavers to make what is a normally very heavy, civil, ugly job into a nice finished product at the end of the day. Next slide. And for those that were there, the first train, and for many of us, a train ride through the tunnel. We got on right near Water Street, and we got off where the new platform will be. And then we participated in a ribbon cutting ceremony on September 8th. All in all, we did open the roads a few days early, which was one of the project team's goals. And we only had one small injury to date on the job, which was a broken toe. So very well, it's over 60,000 man hours between designers, inspectors, state agency, and construction workers. A job well done to show up for that September 18th ribbon cutting. Next slide. And then as the project manager and my company title of a senior construction manager, I just want to say thank you from the executives of Kabricki, our partners VHB, as well as the Vermont Agency of Transportation and the town of Middlebury. Many of you I've gotten to know in the last few years. And finally, thank you to all the citizens of Middlebury. We couldn't have done it without you. Our workers were enamored by the amount of support, gift cards, the bank put on meals, restaurants had food trucks show up. Again, I think we were entertainment for people, but I also think everybody really enjoyed working together over the last few years. And from the bottom of our hearts, we'd like to say thank you. Next slide.
And Nathan, I think we also wanted to say thank you as well.
Yep. Go ahead,
the
John.
rest of the project team. You know, this was something that we put together, knowing that this was a kind of a monumental year, and it took a lot of planning and effort and collaboration from all stakeholders. So I'd like to echo, Nathan's sentiment that VTrans also is very appreciative of the partnership that we've had with all stakeholders.
Yeah, and the same goes for the engineering team. I think, a great partnership on the engineering construction management side, but great partnership with the community as well. And we know this was a big ask, a big shared sacrifice through the summer. But I think, we're through it now, and brighter skies ahead. So.
All right, Nathan, was this one mine?
I had to unmute. I was going to go ahead and take it. Go
Take
ahead.
it. It's yours. You're better. You'll be more apt to answer this than me. So go for it.
So now the work until August. So as you can see, we're finishing up the work in Triangle Park. We're getting our work complete down Printer's Alley and where the labyrinth will be. We're also doing final landscaping. We have concrete to pour along the Marble Works and Fire Department, headed north towards the new platform. And then we have to do any final plantings and paving, and as well as our project cleanup and final ribbon cutting, if you will, in August. That's kind of the summary. Next slide. I can talk this. I think I'll just keep going until someone cuts me off.
These are just go for it, Nate. And these are the side by sides of to date versus the renderings. So go for it.
So this is, I'll let John talk. I'll let either John or Aaron talk the rendering. But this, if you guys remember from last year, we did a lot of renderings of what it should look like. This is Triangle Park today. You'll see that the majority of the sidewalks are poured. We're prepping the remaining green space for topsoil and seed. And we're going to start assembling the original blocks around the fountain to prepare for the final waterproofing and putting the fountain back together. Then they will be just ready for pavers and final plantings. So if you go to the next slide, it should look close to different angle. But you can see if you go back the slide where that large dirt area is kind of a crescent moon. Now go to the next area. That will all be green space with ashlar block benches. And you can see the fountain if you want to use your pointer. That fountain there, if you go back a slide, is going to be right on that pad there. To give you an idea of we're almost there. A couple more months of work, let the grass grow, and it should look very, very nice. Next slide. Just another angle of the green space you'll have in front of the church from both sides. And then here we have the work that's been going on the last week. We've begun the approach, we'll say the one lane road, excuse me, for Printer's Alley, and then the sidewalks on either side that go down to Lazarus Park. Those ashlar blocks will be the handrail, if you will, for the walkway down to the park. If you go to the next slide, those ashlar blocks right there next to the light pole are those same ashlar blocks, which will go to the stairs and down to the Lazarus Park and Labyrinth. That's what you see there. And then we'll finish it off with any final surface drainage adjustments, our top coat of pavement. Majority of the Marble Works parking lot will be the top course of pavement will be redone, as well as Merchants Row and Printer's Alley and Main Street will get its top course of pavement. Final markings and signage, and finishing up any mulch and landscaping and plantings, which I am not the green thumb in the room, but you can see those that were planted last year. The trees are coming in nice, as well as some of the plants already.
So I can go over these, Nathan, if you'd like, and jump into assist as needed.
Yeah, I'll take the next slide. You can go ahead.
All right, sounds good. So basically 2021, construction activity impacts. I'm sure that's why most people are tuning in. We're anticipating intermittent short-term lane closures on Main Street and Merchants Road to facilitate that final paving and striping, as well as Water Street. That is going to get a top coat of pavement and a fresh coat as well. Printer's Alley is going to remain closed to vehicles, but open for pedestrians. And then Triangle Park and Lazarus Park will remain closed for final landscaping. And then you should expect some temporary sidewalk closures for some final sidewalk construction that'll occur. I think we'll have some on Merchants Row, adjacent to the Bourdon building, as well as some on Main Street over by the stationery store. And next slide. And then this one, Nathan, I'll kick back over to you.
So we will have some intermittent short-term impacts along the Marble Works, just to get the final paving done for them, as well as finishing the cast in place concrete that goes all the way down to the platform. And then there will be some closures along Battelle Block. We have some concrete repair work that we need to do so that it stands the test of time. We're going to replace a few areas, and it will primarily affect the Battelle Block access drive as well as in front of the Bourdon building. Most of that work will occur from the railroad tracks, but we will have to reroute traffic at times. And we will do a majority of that work at night to stay out of the way of Vermont Railway. Next slide. Phil?
Yes. With all of that, we have two more projects, a platform for the Ethan Allen Express that will be completed in September. It's ongoing now. So around September 1st, middle of September, that will be completed. And then it'll be completed and then kind of closed at the same time. So there's not train service there now. So we don't expect, obviously, that it will be utilized yet. And then we have paving ongoing now, actually right now, tonight. We're paving US 7, and that will be followed by 30 and 125. Those two roads will probably start in June, mid-June. They'll be done 7 and on to 30 and 125. And that project as well will be done in September. So September is kind of the big month for Middlebury, where we'll all be pretty much done and wrapping up. And then if there's any questions for the project site is still active. So I encourage people to go there for any updates. And then if there's any questions, I'll let our team answer them.
And I would just like to, reiterate that the construction push for this season, which includes those other projects, has been a major coordination effort that we've been undertaking for multiple years now with the town of Middlebury and with the other divisions within the Agency of Transportation to try and facilitate that construction so that it didn't impact the main project of the rail tunnel project, but it also left Middlebury with a kind of a clean final product, right? We're doing all of our final Class 1 town highway paving after the major heavy truck traffic of last year. We're trying to get the rail platform project constructed this year. It actually is within the project limits of the rail tunnel project. So this was a big effort. Took a lot of time and coordination, and it's nice to see kind of it collectively coming together.
Good point. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much to all of you for the update. Are there any questions or comments from the board first? Aaron, would you mind
Hey, Heather.
sharing your screen?
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is Dan. I'd like to make a comment.
Thank you, Aaron.
There.
Go ahead. Now I can see everybody. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I would just like, you paid a lot of compliments to the community and how they handled this and how it was very fun to watch and I agree with you with that and I just want to say that I had the opportunity to meet several of the employees because you graciously put them up in our inn last summer, and I got to compliment you on your people. They were easy, they were fun, they were involved, and they took a great deal of pride in the work that they were doing. They all were amazed at building this project, and as I am and we are. And I also want to thank you and the state for keeping, working so closely with Jim Gish and Jim keeping us informed. I think that was the key to the project with Jim's effort, and we knew of every step that you were taking because of his efforts, and I'm sure it was partly credit to you guys for keeping him informed. So thank you. You've made our community extremely beautiful and more functional, and we are excited about the recovery that we're going to be making this summer. So thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to add to that. You know, I sit there and I look back and think of 2016 and thought, well, we've got 5 years of project coming ahead. It's going to take a long time to get this done. And now I look and say, where did those 5 years of my life go? It's been absolutely just a fantastic effort. And as the board member who's been living with all of this for the longest time, I'm just really impressed with the professionalism that's come from every one of you. And I don't think it's a stretch to say that not just myself, but everybody who's been on the board during this project up through right now appreciates what you've done. It shows that when you hire top-notch professionals, you get a top-notch job. And you've been great, whether right from the design through the construction, which really was quite a good show last year when we all needed one. And the fact that you're able to keep it going during this unprecedented pandemic time. I know Fahad and I were frequently on the site and came to know not just all of you, but many of the workers. And we appreciate that. And of course, VTrans, you guys were great as well. As I found with other long-term construction projects I've been on and design projects, one gets almost melancholy at this time because we've known each other for so long and friends that it's like, what do you mean it's over? You know, we want to continue things, but fortunately for the town, it is going to be over. And the other thing that I always found is that, you know, as we know with complex projects, and certainly pick that, things don't always go perfectly and smoothly as planned, but whenever some anomaly happened, you know, the solution was realized. It was a good evaluation, came with a good solution. And so once again, professionalism counts, and very confident that we're going to make it through this next 4 months perfectly. There's going to be a lot of accolades at the end, but everybody collectively kept focus on the ultimate goal, and we're there. So again, thanks a lot, and you guys are the best.
Thank you, Nick. Were there any other comments, thoughts from the board?
I was just going to say, I wasn't here for the start of the project. I kind of jumped in when a lot of the heavy lifting was done, but I'm just really impressed with how good everything looks. I mean, I don't have Nick's engineering expertise, but you know, I think sometimes we look at renderings and we don't expect the finished product to look as good as the picture, but in this case, you can really see it coming together in the downtown. Even now with construction still going on, just looks so amazing. So thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Anything else? Farhad, you're on mute.
I just have to add that we're going to miss seeing Jim Gish downtown the entire duration of the project, from like 7 in the morning till late, you know, and he was very, very gracious to accommodate, especially me and Nick, to tour those facilities. Thank you, everybody. Great job.
Thank you, Farhad. Anything else? Okay, I don't think I can say thank you one more time and have it really be meaningful, but I do appreciate all of you being here tonight and joining us and providing us with this great presentation, and thank you so much for taking that time. Jim, do you have anything further?
No, Heather, that was our intent here, is just to, you know, bring the next 4 years into focus for the board here, and to kind of look back at what a successful partnership it has been between our town Yeah, the state of Vermont, Kubricki, VHB, Federal Highway. It takes a village, and in this case, it took a partnership to realize this project and to execute it. And I'm excited that we're just 4 short months away from recovering our downtown, and let's get back with the business of building Middlebury.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, Aaron, Nathan, Jonathan, Phil, and Jim, thank you so much for being here and filling us in. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
So we'll give Chris a chance to move everyone around, and we'll bring Dan back in, and we'll continue on with item 8 of the agenda. Hi, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming back and forth with us. I appreciate it.
No worries. Okay.
All right, we're on the Water Department Class 3 truck purchase, which is 8F, I believe.
Yes. So Bill went out and got proposals from area dealerships for a new truck for the water department. The low bid was from Stone CDJR. It is for a Dodge Ram 3500. And you'll see the sheet there that Kathleen has up. It includes a $7,500 trade-in of our current vehicle. So we decided not to go for the upgraded undercoating or the extended warranty. So the amount you're going to approve tonight is for Stone CDJR bid of $56,501.00. So request you approve that purchase.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I move to award a contract to Stone CDJR for the purchase of a Dodge Ram 3500 at a total cost of $56,501.
Thank you, Lindsay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Esther. Any comments or questions on that motion? None? Okay. All in favor of that motion, please signify with a thumbs up. Okay, we are 5 in favor. And so I should just make a note for the minutes. Farhad stepped out for a few minutes, so we're 5 in favor, none opposed. Okay, Dan, the wastewater department class 4 truck purchase.
Right. So tonight there's no decision to be made. Bill went out and got pricing from local vendors. They were above his estimate. They're also, I believe this is the one that was, none of the bids were received on time. So we discussed at the infrastructure committee to look for alternative approaches to getting more bidders involved. So I do know that Bill is in the process of doing that as we speak. And so that'll come to the infrastructure committee in May, and then come back to you the meeting after that meeting. So no decision tonight, just an update of where we're at with it. So
Great.
That's all I have.
Great. Thank you, Dan. Thanks
Okay,
so much for being here.
Sure. Thank you.
And we got you ahead of schedule, off the hook early
Dan?
tonight.
Dan, 1 second. Heather, what do you think about taking the easement for the replacement of bridge number 3 on Route 116 out of order while Dan is here, so he could answer any questions you have? It's fairly straightforward.
Absolutely. Let's do that. I am on board. Let's go to item 10, and we'll skip over 9 for now. So Kathleen, do you want me to just review what's here, or did you want to make any comments?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So V-Trans is seeking a quitclaim deed from the town to terminate a utility easement the town holds for a water line that runs through a portion of the state right-of-way of Route 116. That's within the project area of the upcoming replacement of bridge number 3. The draft deed was in our packet for review. Town council is reviewing the deed request as well as evaluating the potential need for new utility easement in the portion of the water line that will eventually need to be relocated. Okay. Is there questions? Anything? Dan, go ahead. Dan Brown.
Yeah, I guess I'm just a little confused. So we do the quick claim deed and terminate this, but there's a water line there that's got to be put someplace else, and so we're gonna have to have another easement to do that, or is it moving, or what does it do?
So the easement you're giving up is in the east side of Route 116, right at the Dow Pond Culvert. It's kind of, well, I say it seems unusual that we would have an easement for water line. It's in state right of way, but usually some of these things go the other way. So yes, the water main that we put in last summer, fall, runs up along the west side of Route 116. It is in the way of that culvert replacement. So what they're going to do is build the east side first and allow traffic to go on that. I'm sorry, build the west side first, and then switch sides with traffic northbound, southbound. And so instead of having our water main on the east side, it's going to be on the west side, go north of that culvert cross, and then cross back to the east side, the specialty filament side. So a lot of the water main work has already been done. This section could not be done until the state was going to do their part of this contract. So yeah, I believe that's what Ben is trying to clarify, is a new easement in the new right of way, or not the new right of way, in the right of way once it's built. Is that how you figure, Kathleen? Yeah.
So Ben is still working on that, but Dan, do you think it's safe for the board to authorize this quick claim deed, and then we'll have to address the other deed, the other easement when it's available?
Right, absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that update. Were there other questions? No? Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
Sure. I'll move to authorize Town Manager Kathleen Ramsey to sign the quitclaim deed terminating the town's utility easement and a portion of the state's right-of-way on Route 116 required for the replacement of bridge number 3.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Esther. Any other comments or questions on that motion? Okay, all in favor, please signify with a thumbs up. Oh, I can hear myself. Okay, we're 5 in favor. Farhad, did you want to vote on the quitclaim deed, or do you want to just let that one go and we'll catch you up on the next one?
Yeah, I'll let it go.
Okay, so we're 5 in favor, none opposed on that. Okay, so we can let Dan off the hook now? All right. Thank you, Dan, for being here. I appreciate the updates.
Yep. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so now we're moving back to item 9, request for authorization of tax sales, for properties with delinquent taxes outstanding. Chris, can we have Jackie join us?
He should be coming in right now. There we go.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Hi, Jackie.
Hi,
Can you hear us?
I can hear you, yes.
Oh, there you are. I see you. Great.
Sometimes
Welcome.
it works.
Jackie, do you want me to do the intro and you can add on, or you want to take it from the top?
you can start and.
Okay. Jackie has prepared a delinquent tax report, which is in the packet, highlighting those properties that meet statutory criteria for tax sale in accordance with 32 VSA Chapter 33, and also the town's tax policy for your consideration. Delinquent tax notices were sent out on March 16th, March 26th, and April 19th. And Jackie continues to work with individual property owners to resolve issues that may have arisen as a result of the change in the installment payment due dates between FY '23, which was 2 installments, and FY '21, which was 3 installments, or because of a recent change of ownership. She has finalized the list, which is in the packet, which included any payments received over since the most recent delinquency notice. The board's approval, if it does approve it, will authorize me to retain counsel to begin proceedings in regard to properties with delinquent tax payments.
Thank you, Kathleen. Questions? Farhad?
Yeah, hi Jackie.
Hi.
Are there, in this list, are there repeat offenders who are habitually, they don't pay taxes on time, or there just happens to be a list like this?
There are repeat offenders here. You can tell with the multiple years, but there are also some that we haven't seen before, so.
So then, for example, I see one that has been from 2011, 12 till now. I see every year, I think they're, so how do you figure out when to go after them?
So these, Jackie, correct me, feel free to step in. Some of these people have had agreements from time to time.
Okay.
Some of them have been in bankruptcy, which kind of thwarted some collection efforts.
Okay.
Jackie, are there other instances you can think of?
No, that's mainly the bankruptcy and reneged agreements, and we didn't do anything last year, so the list is, some of them are longer as far as the number of years.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Other questions?
One thing, just kind of a little factoid for you. We have a total of $330,000 of delinquent property taxes on this report. We have 275,000 without agreements and 55,000 with agreements. It's important to note that this not only includes the $7.5 million we collect annually for our local property taxes, it's also the nearly $15 million we collect in state education property taxes. So if you look at it in that light, it's a much lower percentage.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Kathleen. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, Kathleen, a question on that. I know we don't get the money. How does it happen when the state doesn't get their money? Do we have to make up?
The state gets their money.
So-
We have to give the money to the school and the state, whether or not we collect.
So over 50% of this money we've already paid to the state. That's pretty impactful.
Any other questions or comments for Kathleen or Jackie? Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the tax sale for those properties listed in the delinquent tax report and authorize town manager Kathleen Ramsey to retail legal counsel for that purpose.
Thank you, Farhad. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Dan. Any other comments, questions on that motion? Okay. All in favor, please signify with a thumbs up. We are 6 in favor. None opposed. Okay, I'm so glad that I printed paper for tonight's rearrangement of the agenda. Otherwise, I don't think I would have been able to keep track. Okay, so that takes us to the addition to the agenda 10A, which is the annual adoption of the town's emergency management plan. Do you want to give the update on that, Kathleen? Or should I just review what's here?
You're welcome to review what's there, or I can. Up to you.
I'll give it a go.
Okay.
Chief Hanley is reporting that the Vermont Emergency Management, VEM, has recently reminded municipalities that adopted emergency management plans, EMPs, must be submitted to their regional planning organizations by May 1st. Having an up-to-date EMP on file with the Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security is a prerequisite for communities wishing to apply for grants or receive full disaster relief funding. In order to meet the May 1st deadline, Chief Hanley has recommended readopting the town's 2020 EMP for 2021, with updates made to certain time-critical elements. In April 22nd correspondence to Kathleen, Tom reported he's updated the time-critical elements. Legal issues for the board to consider are on pages 9 and 10, emergency authority to act and emergency interim successors. Once the board adopts the plan, these then can be put in place once an emergency is declared by the town manager or successor. This is strictly for legal emergency as declared, and the board can always convene a special meeting to amend any of this, appoint an acting town manager, etc. This simply allows us to convene an emergency response without paralysis until the board can act and we can go through the formal process. Once this is on the record as approved by the board, Chief Hanley will add updated elements as they come to the Fire Department, Department of Public Works, and MREMS before sending it off to regional planning. So any questions? Anything you want to add to that, Kathleen? No questions? Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
Well, I've been staring at emergency operations plans for the last week, and so I would not want to have the good chief or anybody else have to go back and do anything else. So this is a good plan. It has been, and it's appropriate. So I move to adopt the 2021 Middlebury Emergency Operations Plan as presented.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Farhad. Any other questions or discussions on the motion? Okay, all in favor of adopting the Middlebury Emergency Operations Plan, please signify with a thumbs up. We are 6 in favor, none opposed. All right. Kathleen, item 11, year-to-date budget reports.
Yes, I'm happy to report that we're holding steady with the same report that I've given over the last several months. Expenditures are down in the general fund for the recreation and library departments. Also, revenues are significantly down for the recreation department, which more than offsets any savings we may incur there. Back in December, I told you that we were looking at a $200,000 under expenditure, and it's holding steady at about that, and expecting about a $300,000 revenue shortfall from recreation registrations that we will not receive, library fines, and also about $40,000 in local option tax. But we'll see what the first quarter for FY for calendar year 21 on the local option tax is on May 12th, when we receive that report from the state. So at your May 25th meeting, I'll have an update on that.
Great, thank you, Kathleen. Are there questions for Kathleen on any of the year-to-date budget reports? No? Okay. Dan, you want to take us through approval of the check warrants, please? You're on mute, Dan. There you go.
Yeah, by the authority of the select board granted on April 28th, 2020, I have reviewed and approved total expenditures of $416,279.74, consisting of $316,651.67 for accounts payable and $99,628.07 for payroll for the period of April 14th, 2021 through April 27th, 2021, and I move the board's approval of payment of these expenditures.
Thank you, Dan.
Second.
Thank you, Farhad. Any questions, comments? Okay, all in favor of approving the check warrants as presented, please signify with a thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're 6 in favor. All right. Town manager's report. Kathleen.
In your packet, you received a letter from the Addison County Regional Planning Commission and the Addison County Economic Development Corporation outlining the federal aid expected to be allocated to Addison County municipalities under the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA. Funding for Middlebury is currently set at $2.5 million, as confirmed by Congressman Welsh at the board's April 13th meeting. The letter includes an offer from regional planning and ACEDC to help communities plan to invest this infusion of funding. Further information regarding the program, guidelines, and eligibility criteria will be distributed to municipalities once the governing use of ARPA funds are clear, the letter says, so that each community may achieve maximum benefit from the funding. And then a big bunch of current correspondence was also detailed in your packet.
Great, thank you, Kathleen. Does anyone have any questions for Kathleen on the town manager's report? No? Okay. We are at board member concerns and it is 20 after 8. I'll start at the top of my screen. Lindsay.
I don't think I have anything, but thank you.
Great. Nick.
Well, see, Heather, I knew you'd be able to get us in time, and I had great faith. And let me see if I can show you my view out the office here.
Oh,
Because it's,
man.
now you got to.
Oh, no.
Does it show?
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yes.
like,
We don't
just
see
like,
anything.
just like Middlebury.
No, you
we
see, so it's a perfect night to be out. So thank you, Heather. Give me a chance to go out and enjoy a really nice evening out here. So you did a good job.
I'm going to
other
show you
than-
guys my window next.
Other than that, there's absolutely nothing I want to add.
So next time, Nick, the request is that we actually see some bison out that window, okay?
We can do that.
Okay.
Like they're probably all right now, they're probably standing around my government truck, and they're not going to let me into the truck. And the babies are being born quite frequently, so then they get extra protective.
Exciting. Thank you, Nick. Esther.
Thank you for a great meeting. It was quick. And no, it was great. Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, sure. Farhad.
Yeah, I was going to comment on Nick. I said, we didn't see anything. You should go outside and show us everything with your laptop. You're muted.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we can do is if everybody wants to stand, we'll take a ride around the park.
Do you know anything about that Maverick gas station, Kathleen?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a whole bunch of activity there. They took out the tanks. Is that sold or something, you know?
We checked with people in the know today, and there is no property transaction recorded on
Yeah.
that. There haven't been any permits pulled for anything locally. I understand there are some regulations requiring the removal of old gas tanks.
Right.
So it may be associated with that. But Jen Murray, who had our Director of Planning and Zoning, had reached out to the real estate agent previously about this, and she has done it again, and she'll report what she hears to us about any change.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you.
All set, Farhad?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dan?
Yeah, I think Kathleen, isn't it, if the tank is abandoned, it has 1 year to be removed? Maybe they're being proactive, but.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, a couple of things. I think the blue sky that Nick was showing us was fake. I don't think a sky could be that blue.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't see anything.
No, that was fake. I know
Like the
that.
moon landing. It
Yeah,
could-
exactly. And I think we're going to have a new election for a board chair. If we can get out of here in this kind of time, Heather is more than qualified to do that. I saw, and the governor announced it. You know, I talked about jobs and everything. Governor announced that people on unemployment, I think starting in at the end of April or early May, are going to have to go back to the policy of proving that they're looking for jobs to get to unemployment. So I
That
think
would be
that will help a little bit. Nick, I know you sit on the Kickstart committee, but I'm in town working with Table 21, so it's pretty easy to keep up with this. For me, there are now 40 applications for the Kickstart program.
Wow.
And Nick and them are meeting on Thursday, I think, to pick the top several that they're going to do. So that's really exciting. I'm not sure how many ice cream shops that is. That could be like 18 new ice cream shops in town, but and maybe 10 or 12 coffee shops. I am not privy to who they are, but we keep hearing that bounced around. So that's pretty exciting. And I'm excited to announce that Table 21 is going to be distributing about 19 grants to businesses around town in the next couple of days. So
That's great.
it's gonna be fun.
Both literally and figuratively to Dan's comments, there are some good things coming.
Yes, yep.
Great.
We need a breakfast joint.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
Like the
right.
diner.
Great. Dan, thank you for that update.
Yep.
Just a couple of quick things from me. First, I wanted to send condolences to Ellen Krollmeyer's family and her husband, John Travis. As Town Clerk Ann Webster let us know, Ellen passed away recently. She was one of our justices of the peace and an active member in our community and town. So I just wanted to recognize her contribution to Middlebury and thank her and send condolences to her husband and her family.
Thank you.
Also, I would just like to offer my congratulations to Susan, I think it's Cohen. Is it Cohen? Gowen? Anyway, she was the head of circulation at the Isley Library, and she is retiring. And I just want to thank her for her years of service at the library and just appreciate all the work and her friendly face at the library anytime I needed help. So that's all I wanted to add. Kathleen or Chris, you guys have anything? Okay. I think we are good to have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Farhad. Is there a second?
Everybody raise their hand.
There sure is.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, guys.
Anyone opposed? All right. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you for the good meeting.
Thank
Make
you.
it a
Good
good
night,
one.
everybody.
Take care.
Thank you.
Night,
Thanks.
everyone.